Hey guys, this is Kian Graham here, founder and CEO of Monetize More. Today I wanted to talk about how I came up with the idea of Monetize More and what led me down the entrepreneurial path. So after graduating in business at the University of Victoria, I got my first career job back in 2007. And I was working there for over a year. It was an online classified, so think like a Craigslist competitor. It was the only marketing hire that they had. I was pretty much like a growth hacker before that was even a term. It was a great launching pad. I really enjoyed the job and I learned so much. That's how I fell in love with the digital marketing industry. So fast forward a year, we're in a recession. The online classified is owned by a newspaper and they decide to go from investment model where they make profits in the future to let's make profits now. They decided to lay off the marketing department, which was a few people at the time. And that was a big surprise to me. I had this great job, I was really excelling and thriving, and all of a sudden it was gone. But I'm the type of person that likes to turn a bad thing into a good thing. So I book a flight to South America, and 5 days later, I'm on a plane to Peru. I meet up with a couple of friends, and I start this backpacking trip, and we went all over for this 5-month trip. We went to Brazil, then Argentina, Chile, Bolivia, and then in the 4th month, I'm back to Peru, and I find myself on this Machu Picchu trek. It's a 4-day trek through the Andes and then up to Machu Picchu. So we got there bright and early, get to the top, and I remember kind of just sitting on the rocks, looking at the view, reflecting on my trip, and remembering like this has been the time of my life. I don't want to go back to Canada and just get some corporate job. I want to continue this. I want to be able to work and travel where I want and when I want. And it just kind of clicked for me. I can do this. All I need is a laptop and an internet connection. I can do this. I can provide value in the industry. I can find this way. So that was the initial fire beneath me that got me started. So I traveled for a month longer and then I came back to Canada and I had the 6-month incubation period. I would build websites from scratch to kind of understand some of the coding side. I did some affiliate marketing to understand some of the opportunities there. I got certified in SEO. I learned a lot about social media to really build up my skills and also come up with an idea as I work on these things. And then I decided to use my old employer as a case study. How could I increase their ad revenues? So I found out that Google AdSense was running on 100% of their ad inventory. It was actually their largest revenue source. So Google had this monopoly. I was like, okay, how about if I had Google compete against all these other ad networks, their competitors, in this competitive auction? If it's an economics demand and supply curve, the supply stays the same, being the traffic, but demand increases, the price will go up for every ad impression. And they get hundreds of millions of ad impressions, that could be large revenue increases. So I kind of came up with that model. I offered it to them and they said, that sounds pretty cool. Like they're really interested. However, they couldn't afford to pay me a retainer because they were still laying people off. So what I did was I offered them that I can increase their revenues and only charge a percentage of the increase. So if I do not increase their revenues, I'll charge nothing. I will take in all the risk, I'll align my incentives to them, and they said, great, let's try it out. So they gave me that first chance. I had my first client, and I was gonna walk through walls to make sure this happens. So first month, I'm in mad scientist mode, testing these different text creatives. When you see these display ads with the different, texts, and you could change the title colors, the description colors, all these different variations, and seeing which ones actually got higher click-through rates. And in that first month, I was actually able to increase the revenues by 10%. And then in the second month, I tested running AOL versus Google, and that increased it by 25%. I'm like, okay, this is working. And then I kind of tested some different trafficking optimization. I ran Castelli networks against them and added all these other networks, and it just went up and up and up, and I was able to increase their revenues by millions over a 2.5-year period. And that is the model that we offer to websites around the world. And since then, we've been able to grow a team. In the 4th year of the business, I started hiring people, and it's kind of slowly grew into this team. We hired engineers to build proprietary technology, and it kind of slowly grew as a bootstrap business since then. So you're probably wondering, what did I learn? First off, to make a rich person richer and to take your cut. That is what I did. I proved what I could offer. I offered value, and it was very measurable, and I took my cut. The second thing that I learned was to align my incentives with the customer. I would only earn if I increased the revenues, because that was the most important thing to them. Because once they increased the revenues, then all this virtuous circle aspects started happening. Then they had a bigger budget, they could start hiring people, and then they could grow even more. It was like a very exciting process, and it changed the trajectory of their business. And finally, the best way to learn is by doing. When I went through that 6-month incubation, I did things. I made projects, I made websites, I did affiliate marketing, I used case studies, I kind of worked on it. And even when I had that first clients, I provided a theory and I proved it out by doing it and providing results. Just reading things or reading books or going to seminars, that isn't enough. You actually have to do things and build things. That is the best way to learn. So I hope that was inspiring for all you budding entrepreneurs out there. If you want to hear any more stories about Monetize More, ask in the comments. We have a lot more exciting stories about Monetize More, a lot of great ad optimization tips. So don't forget to subscribe to hear more of those.